All right, so today's video is a little bit different. This is for you dreamers out there. This is for you innovators. This is for the restless minds who knows there's more. For those who feel that spark of genius late at night when the world goes quiet and your mind starts dancing with possibilities. You literally have a Ferrari that you're driving in first gear. It's crazy. I know. Your brain, it has over 86 billion neurons and it makes over 100 trillion connections. The human brain is the most complex known structure in the universe, and you're using it on autopilot. Now, the ancients knew something that we're just beginning to understand scientifically. The ancient Kemites, you may know them as the Egyptians, they called it the Eye of Horus. The Greeks named it the inner light, and the Hindus created the term the third eye. They were all pointing at the same truth, this extraordinary power of human consciousness and creativity that we all possess. Let's look at some of our modern day giants who tapped into this power. Steve Jobs, he didn't just revolutionize technology, he understood that the gateway to innovation was in the mind itself. He used to practice what's called Zen Buddhist meditation. He learned that when he quiets his inner mental chaos, he creates space for intuition and creativity. This is a quote from him: "When the mind calms, there's room to hear more subtle things. That's when your intuition starts to blossom and you start to see things way more clearly." He also understood the power of movement, conducting most of his important meetings while walking, letting motion unlock gates of creativity. And then we have Elon Musk. He describes his mind as a never-ending explosion of ideas while he's in meditation. He went to meditation initially to quiet his mind, but instead he said that it became a constant generator of innovation and ideas. He learned how to use meditation to harness the explosive creative power in his brain. And then we have Nikola Tesla. He didn't just think about these innovations, he saw them crystal clear in his mind's eye. His breakthrough concept of the rotating magnetic field, it didn't come in the lab. It came during a walk, just him taking a walk in Budapest. His mind was at ease and it was free to dance with all of these possibilities. And this was something that he's been pondering over for some time, but that walk freed it up. And then you have Stephen King. Many of those horror stories that he wrote, they came from his dreams and nightmares. Matter of fact, Misery was born in the darkness of a nightmare that he had during a flight. But here's the thing, y'all. These weren't just lucky breaks of coincidence. These were moments when these individuals accessed states of consciousness that we all possess. States where creativity flows like a river, where solutions appear like lightning bolts, where innovation becomes as natural as breathing. Now, you don't have to wait for these moments to happen by chance. You don't have to hope that inspiration strikes at 3 in the morning. You don't have to rely on random flashes of insight. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to show you how to create a psychological environment that makes accessing this brilliance not just possible, right? Not just by chance, not a coincidence, but make it inevitable. All right, we're gonna go over how to set up the conditions in your mind and your surroundings that turn that Ferrari brain of yours loose on the open road. This, my friends, this is practical spirituality. This is applied neuroscience. This is about understanding how your magnificent brain works and giving it exactly what it needs to operate on its highest level. You're about to learn how to tap into the same states that gave Jobs the innovation, Tesla his vision, King his stories, but you're going to do it on demand, when you need it and where you need it. How does that sound? I mean, the power is already there. The genius is already inside of you. So it's time to stop driving in first gear. Let's unleash what your mind can really do. Now let's talk about the perfect storm of brain states. When we experience those powerful aha moments, is usually during twilight hours or during meditative states. There's several important neurological events happening simultaneously. Number one is the default mode network activation, or the DMN. The DMN becomes highly active during rest states. This network connects regions of the brain that don't typically communicate with each other, kind of like LSD. It's very active during mind wandering and self-reflection. It creates conditions for novel connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. Number two is the reduced prefrontal cortex control. That's our executive brain region loosening its grips. Analytical and critical thinking temporarily steps aside. It allows for more unusual connections to surface. It removes that inner critic that might typically dismiss novel ideas or stop us from moving on an idea. And three, you have alpha wave dominance. These brain waves go from 8 to 13 hertz. It becomes more prevalent and is usually associated with relaxed alertness and meditative states. It creates optimal conditions for insights and creativity. They also act as a bridge between consciousness and unconscious processing. So let's talk about the timing of insights and why night and twilight states are so special. The reason is because we often experience insight during specific times. That's the night or during twilight states when you're meditating or you're conscious but kind of slipping in and out of consciousness. This can be attributed to several factors. One, your neurochemical environment. See, melatonin starts releasing as soon as it starts getting dark, right? And melatonin, it don't just regulate sleep, it actually influences cognitive flexibility. It creates a state of enhanced pattern recognition. And during those times, you typically have reduced sensory input, so less environmental stimulation. So that means there's fewer competing demands for your attention. You're getting deeper processing of stored information, and now the subtle connections can start to emerge. The hypnagogic state advantages. The transition between wakefulness and sleep. This is when people have fluid thinking, reduced logical constraints, and enhanced access to subconscious material. And then we have what's called the processing pipeline. This is how insights actually form. The formation of creative insights follow a specific pattern. Number one is the preparation phase. This is information that you've gathered during your waking hours, right? Then you have what's called a problem definition and initial attempts at that solution. And then you start creating cognitive tensions around that problem. Then you're loading your subconscious with relevant material. And then number two is the incubation period. See, this happens during rest or low demand activities like taking a walk. Subconscious processing of information starts happening. Pattern recognition systems actively start working. And then there's an integration of new and existing knowledge. And then number three is that aha, is that illuminating moment, right? The actual experience when you get that insight. This usually happens during states of transition. Along with it comes a surge of dopamine, and then everything feels effortless, it feels sudden, you're in flow state. Then as you begin waking, that's that verification stage, right? Testing your insight's validity. The analytical thinking starts kicking back in, and then you start refining the raw insights into practical application. So let's get into the role of brain state transitions and why transitions matter. State transitions like falling asleep or waking up are fertile grounds for insight and creativity. Why? Because of the network flexibility. Your brain networks are more fluid during transitions. They allow for unique combinations of neural activity. It creates a perfect environment for novel connections, and it reduces habitual thinking patterns. And that's what keeps you away from creativity. Then number two is the cognitive blend, right? The mix of different processing modes. It combines your analytical and associative thinking. It integrates conscious and unconscious processing, and it creates optimal conditions for breakthrough insights. Now I want to get into the practical implications and how you can create conditions for insight, right? Once you understand these mechanisms, it allows you to deliberately create conditions conducive to brilliant thoughts and ideas that I know that you have in that magnificent brain of yours. I mean, Steve Jobs did it. Elon Musk did it. Why not you? Understanding these mechanisms allow us to deliberately create the conditions conducive to insights. Let's get into the first one, which is state management. So intentionally creating twilight-like states using meditation to stimulate nighttime brain states. You manage your environmental stimulation, reducing things coming in, and then you're working with natural cognitive rhythms. Then we get into environmental engineering, reducing sensory input when needed, creating spaces that promote alpha wave states, managing light exposure, and controlling your acoustic environment. One of the main things that you want to do is engage in relaxation techniques. Relaxation is critical for creativity because it allows your brain to operate in a more open and associative mode. Number one is the boss. We always talk about this, is meditation. Regular meditation helps calm your mind, it reduces stress, and it enhances creative thinking by creating this relaxed yet focused mental state. Number two is breathing exercise. Controlled breathing can help induce relaxation and shift focus inward, creating space for new ideas to emerge. Three is physical relaxation. Activities like yoga, massages, or even taking a warm bath can help release tension and stimulate creative thought. Also, you need to embrace idleness and embrace rest, right? Periods of rest and idleness allows the brain's default mode network to get active. This is essential for subconscious idea generation. So daydreaming, just let your mind wander during undemanding tasks that can lead to unexpected insights. So take short naps, but pair it with very specific and intentional prompts. Think about a specific topic before you go to sleep. That can spark creativity by accessing the subconscious mind. Get bored. Do boring things, right? Like separate yourself from everybody. Engage in very idle moments with no distractions. Now your brain can process and connect ideas. Another excellent one is repetitive rhythmic activities, right? Repetitive tasks that require very minimum conscious effort can induce a trance-like state conducive to creative breakthroughs. One of the best ones, in my opinion, is walking. Physical activity, especially in nature, it relaxes you, but it also stimulates a lot of creativity in the mind. Another good one is scribbling or doodling, just drawing. Streams of consciousness, writing or drawing can unlock subconscious thoughts and ideas. And then you want to create opportunity for flow states. Flow states happen when you're deeply immersed in an activity that balances challenge with skill. These states are ideal for generating creative ideas. It could be anything. You can be doing like painting, playing music, playing a video game. All of these different things can put you in a flow state where your creativity starts flourishing. Reading is another good one. Engaging deeply in a book can create a meditative-like focus that boosts your imagination and insight. Also, you can leverage environmental triggers. Your surroundings can play a significant role in stimulating creativity. Expose yourself to nature. Spending time outdoors, that really enhances relaxation and it creates a divergent way of thinking. Showers and just similar routines like that, just mundane things you always do and don't think about. Those are simple, but it relaxes you and it triggers dopamine release, which boosts creativity by enhancing connections between all of these different ideas. And then you want to alternate your focus and your stillness. Switching between focused effort and moments of stillness or inner listening helps refresh your mental energy. Also, take breaks during intense work sessions to allow your subconscious mind to process problems creatively. Also, you want to alternate between active problem solving and reflective pauses to stimulate fresh perspectives. So listen, y'all, we can do this for days, but it's all on you to just do a little bit of this. Just take one of these little tips that I gave you and just try it, right? Be intentional about tapping into your creativity. Be intentional about pulling yourself away from the noise or quieting the noise, right? So you can hear those subtle little whispers of insight, of genius, of brilliance that you all have inside of you, all right? That's it for this week. I hope y'all enjoy. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.